At this point, what we talk about is issues. And we don't talk about restricted or local politics. So when you look at the overall conversation, I'd like to take you back to in 1952 when Alhaji Umaru Apin, a Fulani man, was elected the mayor of Enugu. And Alhaji Abdulaziz Atta was a permanent secretary in the Eastern Regional Civil Service. Then Prince Solomon Akinzra. So these are people, that used to, that were involved in the administration, in the old Eastern Nigeria, So now the conversation has to be refocused to issue-based. So because what the politicians do is that they build houses in people's heads where they occupy as political masters, and the rest of the people are servants. And so people are, some kind of political incarceration. They're incarcerated politically.
Let me help you build it. Now, for example, the APC and the PDP. Yes. You hear about certificates. You hear about, things you shouldn't, name calling and all that. That's not what the average man on the street wants to hear. So how do we take it away from these mundane issues and begin to talk about things that everybody wants to hear? How to get more jobs, how to make the economy grow, how to... We are the sixth producing oil nation in the world. How to begin to refine our crude here instead of going there to buy it. And for as long as the vagaries of economy, continues to go up and down, we'll have to pay more. This is what I'm talking about.
Well,
how do we get to begin to talk about these things instead of name calling, insult here and there?
Well, that's exactly where we're at, and that's one of the reasons why people like us are involved in politics. That's why we're running for office, because we have to change the conversation. So it's not about parties, it's not about politics. It's about the individual candidates and what they can achieve as their permanent goal. So it's very important that at this point we have to look at candidates and what programs they are coming up with. So it's so easy to find out who the real serious candidates are, who the real politicians are. So you cannot at this point begin to defer from what the focus of the conversation is, which is how to provide jobs, how to lift our people from prisons of poverty to prosperity, how to reform our education system,
Good.
How to provide credit facilities, how to invite private equity capital to provide lending to farmers, to artisans, drivers, and people who need those kind of facilities. I think that's what the conversation should be all about, and we have to keep focused on that.
Now, Casmir, when we talk about politicians, essentially politicians are public servants. You're here to serve your constituency. So I agree that it has to be merit-based on the individual. Now, speaking of an individual, you in particular, what are your plans for your constituency?
Well, what I plan to do is, like I said before, when I go to bed every day, I think about how to lift our people from prisons of poverty to prosperity. I think about how to make a difference in their lives. I think, what can we really do to improve on their lives? So those are the key things. What have we done to improve our health sector? Why do Nigerians go to India for all kinds of treatment? So one of the things that has been on my mind is to provide a dialysis unit in my zone, yes. So I'm already having conversations and discussions regarding that. And so it's...
When you say dialysis zone, what do you mean by a zone?
No, that's for Owerri zone. That's my senatorial zone.
Just
That's
one
Imo
dialysis
East.
machine?
Imo East.
Okay.
I'm just starting from there. Like I said in our last conversation, Nigeria is my province, so I'm running to become a Nigerian senator.